Hello, 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 and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Lion. Today is Monday, July 11. It's a fantastic day to be a developer. I've been busy all morning, of course, working on my actual job, enjoying my time doing Blazor development. It's so cool. It's so much fun. So aside from, I say that, aside from, yes, I am back-ish. I'm still only streaming about 2 hours a day, around 10:30 Mountain Daylight Time. But yeah, I've also been trying to post my videos to YouTube, but things have just been weird. So I have a lot of videos that are processing or trying to process, I guess. But otherwise, the next day will be posted on YouTube, which will be day 3 of all of our struggles. Sometime today. I tried to post it on Friday, but then needed to review it, and now it's back in processing. And then the one from Friday will be posted soon. I had a copyright claim on the video from Friday because the bits, the bits music was a premium music, and DMCA was like, this is actually a copyright, but it was just a claim, not an actual strike. But yeah, Jamie's here. Jamie says the last time I've seen you was when you were switching from the previous job. So yeah, that was early May. I've been doing this job for about 2 months now, almost exactly 2 months in like 3 days or so. And yeah, I think I've settled into a groove-ish. Sorry, just thinking. I need to turn some sound down, get my screens moved around, and then we'll be ready to start. Teams, where you at? Go over here. Now move over here. Now turn this down. Okay, and I need to advanced, push you, click close. All right, all right. But yeah, so I am definitely enjoying myself as far as this job is concerned, because I've been able to use MAUI. I think for the purposes of the title bar issues that I've been running into, I'm going to need to make a separate WPF project specifically targeting Windows, and then let the MAUI project be for all of the companion app stuff, if they are going to have a companion app. With the way that I've been presenting the project that I'm working on for them to them, is just pretty much making it as a MAUI app so that I can use Blazor UI, which I know that I can use just any WebView 2 or now the Blazor WebView component or control in a WPF app, and then just have the rest of the application logic still in those separate libraries that could be shared with the MAUI application. And then because I was able to pretty much sketch out all of the UI super duper fast using MAUI, using Blazor, they were like asking about, is there a way to have some kind of mobile app or remote app even to be able to do the processes on a remote machine from this app. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we pretty much have access to Android, iOS, Mac, and Tizen, and of course Windows. So yeah, why not? We have a shared library, we have a shared server, everything is there. So what I've been doing lately, though, is struggling with the title bar customizations portion of this, and I don't know that I want to keep going down that route. We've gotten pretty far. I'm running the app just to see what it looks like because I didn't look at it at all over the weekend. But I think we're going to give up on the title bar for a while. It's currently not a huge issue. The main issue that I need to do is continue skinning the app to target different organization types, essentially. Okay, so this is the title bar issue that we're having. This is what it would look like on Windows 10 and before, which is a title bar that doesn't respond to theme changes. So this is all Blazor UI. And I have the themes changing in CSS by applying a style or a class to the class to the body. So when I change to something like Boo theme, then you'll see that the theme that we get a new theme class on body. That's called theme Boo, and then all of the rest of the CSS variables are overridden by that particular theme. So if we go orange, then we'll see some CSS variables for orange. And so that's super easy for me to do in a web context because I know how to play with CSS and do those changes. In the application context, the way that the application is supposed to know that a theme change has happened is I have this preferences state class that is dependency injectable throughout any part of the application, whether that be Android, iOS, Mac specific code, Windows specific code. This is a lot of commented out stuff, but that's okay. And so in our case, for our Windows specific code, it's actually in app.xaml. Main app.xaml. Or did I put it in main window? I forget where I moved it to. Nope, it's right here. I get that preferences state injected, and then I subscribe to the property changed event, which the reason that I have a property changed event is because this thing implements I notify property changing and I notify property changed. And so whenever something like the color theme changes, I lost my app.xaml. Hello? Hello? Did it remove comment to rollback? Did he remove comment to rollback? Anyway, so if the property that's changing, such as preference state.active theme, if the property that's changing is that active theme, then run the apply theme, which will, if we're in Windows, use the Windows helper apply color theme. I could have separate rules here for Mac, for Android, whatever, and then it would apply the theme that way. Unfortunately, that only works with Windows 11. I've shown that like 80 times, and the videos are currently posted as VODs, except for Thursday's video, which I'm trying to get on YouTube soon, as **N. Once it finishes this passive processing, whatever it means when it says processing, so the standard definition video is processing, and then the high def version of the video will be processing after that. Then I will make that public. And then once the copyright mute audio thing happens in the existing video, in Friday's video that I have on YouTube, once that one finishes processing, then I'll also publish that one. And then today's video, hopefully I don't do anything stupid on it, and we can just publish it as soon as it's ready. I need to make a thumbnail image though for Friday's video and then for today's video. That'll be fun. But yeah, so that's where we're at. So what I'm gonna do is call this a fail. And I'm actually gonna put that as my comment. Fail to add custom title bar when targeting windows. We'll need to revisit, but I want to merge this for now to master because it still works fine. The rest of the functionality is there. Plus, I applied theme changes to the sidebar as well. So they aren't great theme changes. It's just showing that it's possible. But I want to create the branch that's going to be for skinning it. Like a fish. Applied theme change to nav menu. Tried various things. I always put a semicolon. I tried various things to get the custom title bar to respond to theme changes. Was not able to get it working. Switching to we'll revisit this again in the future. Anyway, did you guys see Prog Testing's weird error that he was getting? He said that he left it overnight and then suddenly he's getting random errors. Invalid token expected. And then when he sent me his error, it was his index.html. All of the text turned into Japanese. Pretty sure that's Japanese. I don't see any hiragana, so it could be Chinese. Yeah, it looks Chinese to me. Anyway, create my pull request, please. Please. No conflicts. Therefore, merge. Confirmed. Delete the branch. Go over to the code. I said the code. Switch to main. Pool. Oh man. And delete that custom branch. It's no longer a thing. Okay, so I want to now create the branch for implement skinning. Okay, we're gonna create an approach for skinning. It seems to be working for me so far. There are some things that I would love to do to clean it up. So what I mean by skinning is right now the way that the application looks. Do I have the Blazor WebAssembly app created yet? Or not Blazor WebAssembly, Blazor server. It looks like I do. Looks like I do. Hello, the foxes now. I mean the fox snow. I can read. Thank you. I will do my best to have a good day. I hope you have a fantastic day as well. I'm working on MAUI, which is the latest .NET cross-platform technology. It's kind of an upgrade to Xamarin, the next evolution of Xamarin. We're able to target Windows as well as Android, iOS, macOS, and Tizen. And I believe, I still don't know this for sure. I don't think I've ever really looked it up. I'm just going off of what I've heard other people say, but Tizen is Samsung's wearables technology, wearables OS, and I think even their TV OS, maybe. I don't know. 11. Yeah, definitely post your question here. I would love to try to help out. Provided it's programming related. It's almost sounding like you're starting to ask a question about how does the internet work, um, or how do browsers work. But I'll still try to answer. No guarantees on this question though. I'll wait until you finish typing everything out though before I respond. All right, .NET Watch. Swatch. .NET Stay. Default Pro. Oh. How did I end up doing that? I wasn't paying attention. Stop going into the wrong app. Dang it. There you go. Try that one. That's okay. Just ask the question. I didn't mean to interrupt you asking. Type out the rest of it, and unless that was the whole question. You want to be able to see what data is being sent when you go to a website? Ooh. All right, cool. Okay, so there are a few ways. You can get a couple of apps. They're both free, I believe. The first one I can recommend is called Fiddler. Fiddler. Network traffic something 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 something. Is it actually by Telerik? I'm surprised it doesn't cost money. What? Did you just... Wait, maybe it does cost money now. Telerik bought it. Oh man. Yeah. So I'm giving you some options. So when you use Fiddler, what this thing does is as your computer is sending network traffic or receiving network traffic, it's listening and it's able to break down all of the information from the requests and responses. So part of those are the data that you can get back. And there is still a free version of Fiddler according to NerdHerder. And hello, Tyron and NerdHerder, by the way. The second one is Wireshark, which is a similar application. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Okay, I was like, Water Day isn't today. So Wireshark, again, is another application that allows you to monitor network traffic. And that can be on your machine or a remote machine that you are connected to. that this thing is allowed to listen on, and you can, again, see the network traffic that's happening, get the data that's being passed. Or the easiest approach is DevTools. In whatever browser you have, you can either right click on the page and go to inspect. that'll open DevTools. You can push F12. You can push Control-Shift backslash Control-Shift there. What is the DevTools shortcut? Other than F12. Control-Shift-I in Chrome at least, or Chromium. So anyway, any of those, you can open that, go to the network tab, and whenever you do a request on a specific page, those aren't actually requests. That's not going to help. I don't have any routable pages on here or anything that actually does a request, but you will see the request show up over here in the network tab, and you can inspect that. And if it's sending data, there'll be another tab that says payload. You can look at that, and that will show you what data you're sending. You could also see your payload, I believe, in this headers. It'll be in content or something like that. And then you can see what the website is sending back in the response tab. So the difference between using DevTools is that, and those other two tools that I talked about, is that DevTools only monitors network traffic for the page that you're looking at, whereas those other ones will monitor network traffic everywhere. It can be web HTTP request, it can be socket request, any kind of network request. Why does filter look like it's on? Oh, because it is. I'm not exactly sure what that means, so if you can explain just a little bit more. But the Fox Snow is saying the website, they can only take information on this network, otherwise they cannot write. Unless that was a question. Otherwise they cannot, right? So I'm going to try to interpret what you said. The website can only get information from your network. Yeah. So when you go to this network tab, this will only show the network traffic for the website that you're on. I think that might be what you're asking. Awesome. So yeah, if I go to another website like GitHub, then you'll see when I refresh that this is network traffic from GitHub only, not the network traffic that's happening over here in this other tab. All right then. So what do I mean by skinning then? Let's move on to that. So right now, I have a way to change the colors. I try really hard to be nice to people. I want to be nice to people. Tyrant says, ouch. I'm a Windows language dev. The sentiment is that there are quite a few people, quite a few technology software developer people that are kind of rude and mean when people ask questions, and maybe they don't understand what the person is trying to say, and they don't want to waste time with trying to understand. I can be like that at times. I can definitely be short and curt and just kind of like, I don't have time for this because I feel pressured and stressed. But that's a human thing. That's, yeah, it's just a human thing. But most of the time I try to be respectful and thoughtful and try to help answer questions that you have. But anyway, thank you so much for the follow. I don't think it's Windows versus non-Windows versus Java versus C# versus any language specific thing. It's just people. People in general can be one way, can be another way, can be always. That's it. That's all I got. So, how is skinning different from theming? We're here. We're somewhere around, you can't see the tip of my finger. We're up there. Anyway, the difference between skinning and theming in my definition for my purposes here is theming is just being able to change the color, possibly even change the font. But it's stuff that has to do with the colors, not the layout, not the, yeah, layout's just the best word that I have. Skinning is when you want to make the app lay out differently. So one version of skinning would be a responsive layout that changes to this. So for me, this would be a mobile skin. And I differentiate that because even though it's using like the same CSS, it just has media queries. But because the components are laid out differently, my nav menu is now a hamburger dropdown. My title bar is now the gradient theme of my nav bar. And then when I'm back at the larger size, then my nav bar is on the left, all of the nav items show. My title bar has the about button, that kind of stuff. And then my page content looks like this. So what if we wanted this page to look like an ASP.NET new app? So that nice, in my opinion, nice, clean, simple, pretty simple looking UI where all you have is application title, about, and then the rest of it. Yes, I do. I do, but I want to be able to control the size width-wise. I don't want to have to toggle. Or I don't want to toggle. Not have to. Because I just want to be able to make it bigger, smaller, depending on what I want to see. Anyway, moving on. But thank you for the pointer to the mobile layout button. And also, I've avoided using this because when I use something like a media query, print media query, and I switch to mobile, and I have the print media query active, so enable CSS print media type. Hello? Why didn't it actually show my option? Oh, because that's not how you bring up the the window. Rendering, where's my rendering window? There you are. This is what I meant to go to. So if my particular page had a CSS media query for print, and then I was switching back and forth between mobile and desktop, I don't know, mobile and not mobile versions, I would have to reload the page in order to get the print media query to work the way that I want. Anyway, which means that I should still be using the switch to mobile and back and forth because I rarely ever use the print media query. That's just for finding an alternative to Crystal Reports for my PDF generation for my documents and all of the apps in the previous job, back in 1864 when I used to work for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal. So anyway, you understand what I mean by skinning by now, because I said it like 6 times and interrupted myself about 20. So what we're going to do then is make a skin that looks just like this and make sure that the application does not break when I do that. So let's start on that. The approach that I took, and I've only tried this once, and hopefully I'll be refining things as we go along, but the approach that I took is this UI project here will have the base shell of what the MAUI app connects to and what the Blazor web app connects to. And what I mean by that is here in my car, underscore host. Yes, it's got to be. No, it's in program. Dang it. Oh, no, it was underscore host. Okay, so here in underscore host, I'm telling it to, or not I'm telling it to, when it got scaffolded, we get this one component, which is the component that will replace the render body section. No, maybe. Yes, because we're in Blazor server. Oh man. Going between Blazor WebAssembly in my head and Blazor server and now MAUI with index.html where we have this div ID app. Speaking of, I kind of want that still. So that the styling that I do will affect both my index.html and my Blazor server because I'm going to use app as a root component or root element. But anyway, since this thing is pointing to main, or I want it to point to one specific file, one Razor component to render here. And I want that to be the same Razor component that's rendered in my MAUI app. So this main here, both of them are using the main from my Blazor UI project, which is this main right here. However, this main is using main layout from its own library. The problem that I needed to solve is I have a completely different layout. In this case, we're going to have a layout that does not have a nav menu, only a top bar and page content. And it's going to have, you know, bootstrappy kind of container classes. What I could do is if I'm in that skinned version of the site, then I could just say hide the nav menu. So use CSS to hide certain elements and rearrange where things are. So that would look something like this. First of all, let's create some skins. UK. Where did I put my color themes in? Oh, theming. Skinning. Clever. Skin. I'm just going to call it skin because I'm too lazy to think. As the only thing I do is think all day long. Okay, so we're going to have a skin that is Blazor Classic or Blazor Standard. Why not? Blazor Standard and then ASP.NET Pages. Cool. So I have an enum now. That's going to tell us which skin we're going to choose. And that's what this is going to be. All right. Nope. Theme. Skin. Skin. And our default skin is going to be our Blazor standard skin. This is not the way that I'm going to do it, but this is just to show what my initial approach was because I like showing my process to kind of be like, this is why I chose to go a different route. But in doing it, I might also decide this is a pretty easy way to go. But The other thing that we need to keep in mind is that this is a pretty simplistic application. There's one nav bar, one title bar, one page with one page content. What if I wanted to change the actual contents of a given page? So we'll get to that. Keep that in mind though. For now, let's just say that we want to style our main page the way that a new ASP.NET Razor Pages project would look like. Speaking of, I kind of want to make one just so we can see it and steal from it. How do I do this? We create a new ASP.NET Core Web app. And we'll call it Theming Example ASP.NET Web App Example so that I can delete it later. Okay, so if you haven't seen, I should have put that down in the web folder. If you haven't seen what a new Razor Pages app looks like, just create a brand new one, and this is what it looks like. Let's hope that my memory is correct. Yeah, so it's just this title bar and then page content. No hamburger menu, no nav menu. Oh, there's also a footer. There's also a footer. Yeah, that's interesting. So we'll consider that as well. So right now, this is our Blazor standard template. If our active skin changes, we're going to say set property active skin, which is going to raise property changing and then raise property changed after it's finished changing the value, which our main layout is listening to right here. Not our main layout. Our main is listening to. And that says if property name is active theme, then update the body classes for the theme. If it's the one that we just created, active skin, then we also want it to change. So because of that, I'm going to make a static variable list of string theme props or theme CSS class props. This is terrible. We can even make it private, actually. And the reason I'm making a static variable is because I don't want to do this every single time this handle preferences change happens. I think I need to do this as a list, though. New name of, I had the whole name of in my clipboard. Haha, joke's on me. Okay, so there's that one. And preferences state dot. Oh, it's not picking the class. That's great. Active skin. It's picking my local preferences property. That's annoying. Theming example S example shared. Hello, prog testing. Oh, state. My goodness, I can't type today. How's it any different from any other day? Shut. Stop being mean. Oops. You're not going to go on the next line for me. Okay, anyway, you can see what I'm doing here. I now have a list of class properties that I'm listening to changes for, and either of those is going to trigger update body classes. So contains the property name. Pitch and yaw. I mean yaw and pitch. And roll. So we need to set our theme class and we need to set our barrel roll. No, that's not what we need to skin class. Oh my goodness. Active skin. Okay, so I need to make a set skin class JavaScript interop. And that is going to just replace the word theme here, 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 here. Nope. Also here. To skin class. And I missed this one. And capital theme, I think is the, okay. Yeah, that's the only place that I add capital theme. Okay, so now I have a way to set my skin class based off of the selected skin. And pretty much we're just having default be the Blazor standard, so it's going to ignore that. But we can see this happen now. Meow. We should still be running. Except I broke a thing. Method not found. That doesn't look right. Excuse me, can you give me information on this error? Pray, please. Take your time. How's everyone doing today? It's Monday. Everyone's got to be doing great. I just know it. I feel it. Dang, that's a question. Is there a way to dispose of JavaScript objects when that portion of the DOM is removed? Oh, that's a hard one. Juan Van is here. Hello, Juan Van. Except he's about to go pull the boat from the water. Awesome. Like the boat, not just any boat. It is the boat. I don't know the answer to your question, Tommy. Like if you're using a JavaScript framework, then you could do something like for React on component did mount, on component did unmount. Every time you create a new element, 1959 Coronado. Prog Testing wants to know, is that a metaphor or a real boat? Oh, it's always a good day to get out on the water sometime during the day. So you were out on the water today? Dude, there is no error. Why were you telling me that there was an error? Dude. There was no error. Okay, so I haven't broken anything yet. However, I need a skin changer, but you can see that up front we have skin Blazor standard and then theme grain. So let's add our UI switcher for our theme picker, our skin picker. Dude, these words. Stop calling me dude. Dude. Pages. I'll let those two stay in line. I'll put this below. Don't mind the divs. Okay, these need to be my, change out the word theme for skin pickers and nose pickers. Tyrant says, I had fun flying around and threw fireworks on the 14th, on the 4th. That sounds scary. Ooh, broken sword. Broken sword for a year and 1 month. Thank you so much for that resub. Dang, 13 months straight, too. Oh, you did it with your drone. Still sounds scary. Drones are not inexpensive. And Han Sohai, does C# have something like Electron or Tauri? You can use, you can deploy your .NET project to Electron. There's a little bit of setup, but you can do that. He says, I can't hear, hold on. That means I got to stop talking. But pretty much Blazor is going to be MAUI is going to be the cross-platform solution that you're looking for, where you can install it natively on various devices or platforms. So you can do Android, iOS. Oh yeah, and then there's Uno. I forgot about Uno. Well, thank you is all that I said, Broken Sword. That's all you get from me, just a thank you. You don't want to make UI with C#. It will probably be complicated. This is what UI with C# looks like. Here's HTML. I said H. And then here is a little bit of C#. So I'm looping through a list of enums called color theme to print out light, dark, blue, orange, green, and kahi. And I'm creating an option element for each one of those so that I create a select list, essentially. Not even essentially, I'm creating a select list right here. And that select list allows me to change the theme like a magic. But anyway, I found it to be really easy. So you can see here where it is actually changing the skin based off of, or the class based off of the skin that I selected from this dropdown. But yeah, you definitely can stick to pure HTML and CSS. You can put JavaScript in there if you wanted to. So like, it's a little bit different because you don't really have a script tag that you can add, I don't think, to your Blazor component. Yeah. But you can write all of your JavaScript in code behind, or in separate JavaScript files like this one, and then use them from your .NET Blazor component. Not worried about that. Posted my YouTube video, the drone footage in the shared any. Yeah, absolutely. You can put it anywhere you want. I do kind of have things that I would like to be in specific channels, but I'm not that particular, but I want to see this. I want to see this. This looks professional. Let me just make sure that the audio is not playing through. So this is Tyron's video on using his drone on July 4th. Skip to 125. Whoa, that's making me dizzy. Here goes some fireworks. Nice that you have some actual. Yeah, that I would be scared to do that. If I owned a drone, I'd be like, this is expensive. You just saw a guy humping the air. Anyway, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Fun stuff. You turned around and went back. Yeah. I used to love flying kites. Does that count? I don't know about flying drones. You need to scooch up a little so I can. I forget how I have my normal setup now. Because, like, well, I guess it's not my normal setup anymore. My normal setup is on this bigger TV monitor thing over here to my left, which is currently, hopefully, your left as well. Anyway, um, I have my Visual Studio in the top right corner, the running Blazor web application in the bottom right, and then in the top left is usually resources like the Figma file that I'm working from, or whatever I'm researching, or videos, or whatever. And then at the bottom left is DevTools, and it's so nice having so much space for my DevTools. And then email, Teams, and all that stuff down here. When I'm working on one screen, it's like I have multiple windows on the same screen that I want to have fast and easy access to without having to alt-tab to. Anyway, moving on. Don't know why I was talking about that. So we are playing around with applying the skin. So we have the skin applied, the skin class applied to the body as soon as we have preference state changes. Okay, I see. So that's working the way that I want. Now the thing that we want to see is changing my layout when we apply skin ASP.NET Pages. So that's the skin that's currently applied. So all that we should have to do is modify our CSS, which I really don't want to do this with regular CSS. I'm gonna create a Sass file real quick. Did I just push Shift F1? Let's try Shift F2 this time. This is going to be our main. Yeah, I'm going to do them all. So let's do main layout.sass because right now we have a whole bunch of isolated CSS files. Oh, that's not a partial. Have I ever worked at a startup before? And how was your experience? I haven't. No, I've only worked for the consulting firm for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal that was contracted to do the work at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, and now another consulting firm. I believe I was about to start working at a startup, but then I got a different offer from Sogeti, or an offer that I accepted from Sogeti, I guess. But yeah, this is what I was talking about, where we have CSS partials that we're given for free when you create a brand new Blazor app. So I'm going to put those in Sass files and have them compile to those to those CSS isolated CSS files. Nav menu. Then I want my overall site, which is I'm going to call app.sass. Sass. And what's the other one? Global styles. Okay. So there's going to be more that I need. Oh, yeah. Oh, now that I remember them, I need root. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take the CSS from my isolated files, put them into my Sass. Okay, and let's go ahead and get at least one of these compiled so that we can modify our compiler config.css. I don't want it to output to here. Instead, I would like for it to output to shared main layout, Blazor, CSS. So now we're going to have a minified CSS on here. Not that that's going to help us with anything, but we do have the minified now. And then I want to add the one for nav menu. And now we got those. And finally, app. We're going to have all of the stuff from app currently, which is in www root. Or sorry, global styles is going to be from www root. But I also want my :root and my themes to be in that root partial. Okay, and what I'm going to do with that is import root and import global styles. And now I want app to output to, I usually like having this one first. This is going to go to www root /css /app. Is it lowercase app? It is. From app.css.sass. And now you can see that we got app.min.css. And the extension that I'm using here, by the way, is an extension that was created originally by Mads Christensen, who has made a million billion amazing and awesome extensions. But he didn't update this one for Visual Studio 2020, whatever Visual Studio we're currently using, 2022. So Jason Moore forked it and converted it over to Visual Studio 2022 for us, which was super nice. But I absolutely love Web Compiler. You just create a Sass folder anywhere you want, or whatever you want to call it. Bunch of Sass files. I think it also does less. And then you right-click on the file you want to compile, go to Web Compiler, compile file. It generates its compiler config file for you, and then you can customize it. You can do stuff like, I forget what the other stuff is. Options. Ooh, I wonder if I really can just have all of my files output to compressed. That would be cool. But like comments, you can turn off comments or ignore comments or something like that. Anyway, there's some way to get rid of all of your comments from your Sass file so that your CSS outputs without comments. It's really cool stuff. And now every time that you save, it's going to regenerate your app.css. And isolated CSS. I don't know if that was Japanese prog testing. I didn't see any hiragana in there, or even katakana. If it was Japanese, it was pure kanji, and you don't really ever see that in Japanese. You'll see it toggle between either kanji and katakana, or kanji and hiragana. But that's also not a valid statement. I'm sorry, I can't let it slide. It is a readable language, just not by us. Unless it really was just gibberish. But yeah, that was really interesting. That was crazy. Yeah, apparently not for Blazor. Okay, so I have my styles there now. So now I'm going to create my skin styles. I'll create two things. I'll create the themes, theming, and I'll create skin. Okay, theming is going to take our root stuff and be all of our, did I say skinny? Theming, hopefully I said theming the first time, is going to take all of our theme specific classes. Actually, I'll just delete that and we'll go, oops, wait. I meant I'm gonna put an ampersand because I'll just put a body rule and then I'll put this at the bottom. And now this is the equivalent of what I already had. It's just that now it's easier to read. I mean, it wasn't that hard to read to begin with. It was just body dot, but this is just another way for you to see that you can nest rules in Sass using SCSS and less and still be able to get the same output or put out or whatever. Okay, I'm going to download the latest VS 2022 and start with MAUI. VS 2022 preview. Remember that MAUI tooling is only available in VS 2022 preview. If you wait a month, I'm assuming that that's when we're going to get our VS 2022 version 17 in production, in general availability. Hello, Tommy. That was a question. That was a question. I have no idea. I have no idea. So you're using a framework called HTMX that allows you to make AJAX requests through HTML directly in the DOM by doing an hx-get to some endpoint, and then you put the output in some element with ID content body or whatever CSS selector. Utilizing. So I didn't get to read the whole thing. However, the bottom line up front question was, can you dispose JavaScript objects when that portion of HTML DOM is removed? And I don't know where this object is coming from. So that would be the next paragraph. Actually, no. The next paragraph is more information. I'm using this to utilize a templating system that makes screen readers, search. I don't know what SSR is. A breeze and renders things based on my application. I'm attaching to the callback server-side rendering. I knew that, but I didn't. I only knew it because you told me. I'm attaching to the callback on HTMX that occurs after rendering is completed so that I can attach JavaScript handlers that need to exist in my application. This whole process is working perfectly. However, when the user navigates away from that page that has instances of variables from plugins such as data table and flat picker, which is like date picker, that have to be declared on page render, it's creating an error because the JavaScript objects still exist, but the DOM element that they are associated with is being disposed and is no longer there. So like I said, my question above, is there a way to dispose of JavaScript object along with the HTML elements that belong to handling the JavaScript files that are handling all of the creation in the same way that my server-side rendering HTML is being handled by passing the script file that links to JavaScript when I'm passing that through HTML. And you were hoping by removing the link to the JavaScript, you would also get rid of those variables. Yeah, so it's like the variables might live inside of either window or document, but I'm not anywhere close to a JavaScript guru expert, not even a super knowledgeable. Yeah, it's like when you're in console and you want to go we, but you ain't when you're in console and you declare a variable here, then that variable is going to exist for this session forever. So if I make this button here, for example, yeah, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to host layout and do a script here that says window dot support funcs equals, I'm doing this wrong, I bet, because I can't think of how to do this off the top of my head. Print a colon function console log a. Maybe. So this function here belongs to my app. So if I did something like support funcs dot print a, then you're not going to see it because support funcs wasn't registered. Oh, I need to fix that too. I'll fix that in a second. Okay, so let a equals .cat_n, and now we can go support funcs dot print a. And so this is a method from my application that's printing a. One more thing, I guess, that we can prove that that is what's happening here is in index dot, where is this? Index dot razor. We could have this button, call that method. So click, handle button clicked with a private async task, handle button clicked. But we need a private IJS runtime in order to do this. Hello, Ghostly Tuna. Are you the same ghost from Discord? Because if so, Tommy has a question for you. If not, welcome to the Daily Code Fun stream where we're playing around with MAUI, and I'm also answering questions that might come up. Okay, just checking. I'm also answering questions that might come up from our viewers. And right now, Tommy is Tommy is Curly Brace, who also said hello to you, is having a JavaScript question, and I don't know JavaScript that well, so we're just exploring a little bit with how I think JavaScript works. Await JS runtime dot invoke void async. We called it support funcs dot print a with no parameters. All right, so what we should see is when we click this, even though I declared a in the console over here, it should say that I'm typing something incorrectly. Probably that JS funcs is not initialized yet. Okay, let a equals that, and now, there we go. Okay, proof. Proof is done. Even though I'm declaring a here in console, because it's in this session, whenever I'm accessing a anywhere in my app, even if I got rid of the JavaScript method down here, it's still going to reference that same a that I declared earlier. I guess another proof would be, yeah, we can have one more proof of your situation so that I can show what's happening at least in Blazor. Maybe show what's going on with your app. Page 2. Shared. Nav menu. Another page. We're going to call this page 2. Page 2. Aperture. And page 2 is going to be a routable page. Named page 2. And on this page, all we're going to have is a button. And it's the same button that's on index, which means that we need this stuff. Okay, so on page 1, we're going to set a. And set a is going to be defined as underscore host underscore layout. So this is where it gets fun. We're going to do var a equals cat dog mouse. Oh, not the var. We're going to call this set a. Okay, so on the home page, we're going to set a, which we can't do because, again, didn't load. We're going to set a, and then on page 2, we're going to get a, and it's saying a does not exist. All right. I don't know how to fully replicate your issue. I could try maybe declaring a here. And then this would be set a and this would be print a. Because this seems more like what's going on with your app. Maybe. So there's set a. I may as well just at least have some console log too. Console log a is set, just to prove that we're actually hitting this. Okay, A is set. Page 2, get A. Okay, so it's something more like this, where even though I'm navigating to a different page, this A is being held in memory for this app. And it's not exactly the same. Can you create a button to generate a div and then create an object when the div is generated? Then another button to remove the div. Yes, I could. I would have to know where exactly to put it. Salad. Okay, so this button would create the div. But what do you mean by the div creates an object when it's generated? Because that's the hard one. In Blazor, I don't need to worry about, or I not even don't need to worry about. I don't hook into element events like you would in a JavaScript framework. So again, the only one that I'm fully, not even fully, the only one that I am somewhat familiar with is in React, you have component did mount. And that just lets you know, all right, this component did show up in the page that you're using it. And now it's ready for you to do stuff with it. And then it gets its resources. Okay. Hello, Irish John Games. I'm gonna do my I forget what my shout out no clip is. Anyway, everyone here should know Irish John Games by now, but if you don't, check him out. Fantastic developer. That one doesn't work. So I'm afraid of doing shoutouts now that I'm posting my videos to YouTube. I'll just stay very quiet during the shoutout. That's what I'll do. But I got a copyright claim on my previous one that I was posting to YouTube, and it was because there was a song playing. So, anyway, here he is.
O greit te job. Aya va question. Ar difficult easy to do a day and a night cycle.
And I couldn't hear it anyway, so I have no idea. So it's creating, yeah. So simple database tables, where is that object? To whisper. I couldn't hear it. Unfortunately, my sound is turned down too much. But you have account human data table is new simple database.data table, and you're binding it to an element with ID account humans dash dash data table. And then you're adding choices. Or you're getting choices from an element named type. And the first element that is named type. And the simple data tables comes from another plugin library, basically. Yeah, and so even though you're getting rid of, let's say, the type element, which means that you want to free up your account type choices, because if you reload account type choices, then it's like account type choices already exist. Is that what you're kind of saying? Yeah. So then my answer is I have no idea. Because this code, so I'm pulling it on screen, this code here really is looking like, I didn't finish talking about Irish John Games. Sorry. I'll do that in a second. I always talk about you. this looks like this is registering the account type choices variable to something outside of a scoped function. So the scope for this account type choices must be document or window. You could, because I think even if you change this to let, you would also have issues. So how about, since I don't know exactly how to dispose, I mean, that's probably, I'm sure you've Googled it, but it's probably a pretty intensive search. What you could do is check to see if account sources or if account type choices. So check to see if that object exists or not. If not, then you can declare const account choices. Otherwise, you use whatever JavaScript does to clear out your list of choices. Declare a temporary variable to hold your new choices, and then add all of those new choices to account type choices. That seems like a long way around, but because I don't know how to say this object no longer exists in JavaScript, it's out of scope kind of thing. So do like if a, oh, clear a, then add values. Are you going to help me out here, Copilot? No? Otherwise, yeah, and then again, I wouldn't know how to make this declaration inside of the else branch register to wherever the actual thing exists. Because this should be scoped only to this else branch. And so this would break down here. Is that truth? Okay. Broken. Yeah, A is not defined. Isn't, shouldn't this allow for A to not be defined? Let me just switch it around then. I don't know JavaScript, man. I don't know JavaScript. But anyway, Tommy is saying in my head the script file is essentially the scope for those elements, but it's not. Yeah. The only way that I can think of that that's possible is if your script file is a module and it was loaded as a module. I don't use JavaScript every day. I seldom use JavaScript in RAW. Seldom. Like right now I'm using it for setting the body classes because I don't have access to the body element. But that's it. Anyway, that's my best guess which is just check to see if that variable exists or is defined or whatever the JavaScript syntax is. That was the last resort. I was going to basically start including Webpack and break everything into modules. Yeah. It's a big lift, and I have no idea where to start with that yet. Me either. So I've been trying to avoid it. Says Tommy, by the way. But yeah, that's just my best guess. If we do hear anything from anyone else that happens to watch the playback or is currently here, I will let you know. Okay, where did we make it to? We made it to Utah, Peru, Canada, Denver. That's where I am. We split up our SaaS into our main application SaaS, which we also need to say content theming example. Thank you so much, Tommy. So helpful. Okay, so Irish John Games. Irish John Games is fantastic. I'm sure you've heard of him, but if you haven't, he's working on an amazing game called Rise of Piracy. During his streams, he's doing a normal 8 hour, or I don't know how many hours you spend on your regular job. He's doing a day job, and then he works on Rise of Piracy in the evenings, his nighttime on his channel, 2 p.m. my time, which is Mountain Daylight Time, UTC -6. If you haven't seen it on Steam, Rise of Piracy is available for you to wishlist it. Take a look at it, look at those screenshots, check out the trailers. Oh, he's got some amazing trailers for it. It's a real-time strategy game that looks like other games that he keeps mentioning that I've never heard of or played or seen. But it's also his own unique game too. That is just, it's awesome. It's going to be a very, very cool game. So head over to Steam, wishlist it, and for those of you that are watching in the future that can't see chat, it is this link here. I'll leave it on screen for a couple seconds, minutes, hours, or just search on Steam for Rise of Piracy and wishlist it. Let your friends know. If you're into real-time strategy, especially, check it out. Watch the dev process on his Twitch channel, Irish John Games. No underscores, no dashes. Yay. Okay, feels better now. Let me get Fave icon as well, because I hate seeing those. I need to get over myself, but I hate seeing them. Underscore layout. Shortcut. Fave icon. Type. Image. X icon. Okay. No more errors. Okay, so did she do the whisper out? I couldn't hear. I need to go look for it so I can hear it, because I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm sure it came from the clip. Unless there's something else in chat that I missed, which is totally possible. Videos. No, how do I see the channel's clips? Clips. That's what she said. Where does it get these clips? I don't know how to find the clip. I don't even remember which side of the screen he was on when the clip played. I thought he was on the left side. I just opened all of them. I will find it. Quality content right here. I'm not finding it. It's not in the list of clips that are on his channel. That makes me sad. I like the boat. I like the boat. Last one. Nope. Couldn't find it. I'm sad now that I wasn't able to hear it. FOMO, man. FOMO. Okay, I'm gonna move on though. So we're gonna do our skins, our skinning, and that's gonna go in here. Wait, how did that work? By the way, didn't I pull all of my themes out of root? I am root. Wait, that's not how it goes. And into theming, and then I hadn't imported it into app.css yet, or app.sass yet, and yet my color themes are still working. That's weird. Because it's still loading the old themes. Why aren't you loading the new themes? The new app.css. Oh, because that's really there. Never mind, that's actually what it looks like. Just kidding. Yeah, I thought it was cached too. But I think that's just what it looks like now. But earlier it was most likely because it was cached. It's just really hard to tell. My coffee. I'm not saying that. Wait, I do care. Because I really need this thing to use the theme. Actually, here's how I could find out. Let's just delete this thing. I can't believe he's just deleting stuff. And then if I refresh, then we got no styles. I got no style other than the isolated CSS. Kind of weird that my page 2 isn't actually routing though. And now if I recompile app, then we have our app file here and we got our styles. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Doesn't matter. The thing that I care about is getting our theme to apply the way that I want it to apply. So let's do that. So right now we are skinning as ASP.NET Pages, and that's going to go in my skinning, which I need to put in app. And this is going to be body ASP.NET. What did I call it? Skin-ASP.NET Pages. Dang it, this memory. Better commented out. Heck yeah. Okay. So, just to prove, we're going to change the link color. How about that? How about now? What even is that? This is top row anchor tag. Color white. Ah, wait. Excuse me, all top row anchor tags are supposed to be color white now. It's not even a specificity issue at this point in time. You know what? You know what? Let's go clear all this. Let's close, close. Okay, we are currently in Blazor Standard, ASP.NET, but what, why? Like, we should at least see the rule for changing color to white, but it would be crossed out if it was because specificity. Forget you. Background color pink, important. Oh my goodness, why didn't you guys tell me? Body and skin. There. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Blazor standard ASP.NET Pages. Well, you just applied a new theme for all of these for ASP.NET Pages that says all links in top bar are white, no matter what. That's wrong. Oh, thank you so much, Fuentes. Fuentes Mendes. Following me this minute. Thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate you being here. We're playing around with MAUI, trying to do some exploration. Actually, right now I'm kind of talking through my process of creating a thing called skinning that I'm calling skinning, which is different from theming because I want to apply a completely different layout. And so the way that I'm going to do that is I want to change main layout. So here's the problem with changing main layout. My main layout is in a partial called mainLayout.css. So when I try to apply changes, I may run into some conflicts. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that my nav menu, which by the way, isolated CSS is just going to make it really hard to target these without extra classes on them. So I'm just going to add a nav menu class so that I can target this thing with my CSS rules. CSS rules. I'm going to put a space here because lazy. Yeah, and that's there are so many things that I'm going to need to change about this. All right, so nav menu is going to be my target, and we're going to hide it. That's going to be the number one easiest thing to do. Just kidding. Display none. Yep, and there it is. I'm probably doing something else because that's called sidebar. But nav menu, oh my goodness. Why are you suddenly not C#? Okay, so that gets rid of the nav menu, but I need to get rid of the entire nav bar. So that's class sidebar. That's terrible. If I do that, then I also lose the title. So I've lost app title. The other thing that I want is in my main layout, I would like for my display to be grid. Actually, are you already grid? Yeah. Or I'm sorry, display flex would work. Who said this? There was someone that really, really doesn't like this. Display flex, flex direction, column. There was someone that I recently was watching, or maybe someone that came in the stream, and they're like, if you're going to use flex direction column, why not just go ahead and use grid? Because you can go in columns. Just have one column wide. I like display grid, but for me, it kind of doesn't. I don't know. Is there a difference? For me, I don't think there's a difference. Like if I'm only ever going in one direction, then I'll use flex. If I'm going in potentially multiple rows and columns, then I'll use grid. That's my rule of thumb. But anyway, display flex, flex column. The reason that I would prefer to use grid is because it's easier for me to size grid off the top of my head. That's a lame reason because it's like, that really doesn't mean squat. It means that I need to learn Flexbox. But like, I would want to figure out how to do this in Flex, which is simply grid template rows, auto, remaining free space, grid template rows, flexes with the boxes. So I should now have my body. Oh yeah. except that my layout is body app page. Whoops. Okay. And then I think sidebar is in page 2 currently. Page sidebar. Yeah. So body. Gosh. And then app There we go. And then page. All right. And now page will also need to be a height of 100 VH and a width of 100 VW. Make it big, just like that. Oh, sorry. You guys are awesome. I'm not apologizing. Why am I apologizing? Um, yeah, absolutely. Please unbake yourself. Stop smoking pot and you won't have to worry about that. Um, anyway, I gave a proper shout out for you finally. It took me a while, but I finally did. I know, I know, I know. You already said it. You haven't done it for a million, billion, trillion years. You haven't smoked, I guess, for a million, billion, trillion years. I didn't mean to accuse you of that. It's not funny. That's mean. Okay, so here's where I'm running into my issue. When I am doing, oh, yeah, when I'm doing skinning, something else that I would need to keep in mind is my title, for example. So here, my entire sidebar is going to disappear when I go to ASP.NET Pages, skin. But I still want to keep this title, except move it inside of this top bar to the right. And because title is a part of my sidebar here in this top row, then I won't be able to use that same title here. The other thing that I would want to do is apply a class of container to my page and move my sidebar, not my sidebar, move my top bar out of page so that the top bar does not get, sorry, wrong top bar. That's fun to find. Move my top bar out of main so that that can stretch through the width of the page. And then the other thing is inside of top row, I would want you to be container as well so that it only spans the width. But why? Why is top row? I wasn't expecting the background color to squish with that. The background color should have stayed across the whole top, unless container has margin and not padding. Is that what the deal is? It has a max width. That's one thing. Width of 100, margin auto. Yeah. So it's the max width that's causing the issue. What I was expecting to see is, oh, yeah. So actually, I think the answer that I really want is I would also want to add an element inside of here. Okay. And so now my entire title bar still goes across the entire page top, but the about and links and stuff will only be the width of the container because that's how the ASP.NET pages look, if I recall. I'll show it again because I want to see it. I want to prove it to myself. It's getting dark. Yeah. So if we were to inspect this, my assumption is that this top bar goes all the way across. It's actually header that goes all the way across. Nav just happens to go all the way across as well. And then inside of that is a div class container. So the point that I'm trying to get to is if we just tried to manipulate our current UI in order to match our new skin. So if I had a layout that was only for, like that's another option. We'll go to that in a second. If I were to have a whole bunch of switches in here that says if not preferences state, which I have dependency injected in here. I'm sure you see it. Where are we? We're in main layout. Why does it look like we're in another file? I know how to type. I know how to type. Promise. Get EST. Anyone in EST? European Standard? Wait. Eastern. Oh my goodness. Let me import. Okay. So if preferences state dot theme, active theme is active skin is skin dot as nope Blazor standard, then we can have our sidebar. Otherwise, we don't get our sidebar. My goodness. I don't know how to C#. Does anyone know how to C#? I even got my glasses on. But then I'd have a whole bunch of rules throughout all of my pages. And what happens when I want to add another theme that massively changes the layout? So this is not a good approach, in my opinion. The next thought that I believe I had, which I just had again, which is why I think I had that thought, is what if I just created a new layout and call this my ASP.NET layout, which needed to be one of these. Oh, I can get rid of you and you. Then what we could do easily is in our main.razor, we could say when we have theme changes, the other thing that we need to listen for is e.property name is name of preferences state dot active skin apply skin layout. And so these can both happen in whatever order. So that's why I'm not going to worry about making sure that we wait for this one to finish before running this one. And our apply skin layout is going to switch out which class we are using as our main layout. So we go private type layout type, and we'll initialize it to type of main layout. And we can use that in place of these two. And so now we have a way to dynamically swap out the layout that's being applied based on which skin we currently have selected. So let's do layout type equals preferences state dot active skin switch, and I would most likely make a an extension off of active skin. You know what? I'll go ahead and do that now, even though I'm gonna undo it because I don't want it, but we will eventually overwrite it. So active skin will have a, oh, except I can't because this is in the shared library. I would have to do it in the UI project. So let's do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a reference to the main layout. Since shared does not reference Blazor UI, it's the opposite way around. Ew, skin extensions. That sounds terrible. Okay, make this a static string type get layout type this skin, nope, skin switch. Excuse me, I said, okay. If we are skin dot ASP.NET Pages, type of ASP.NET Pages layout, ASP.NET layout, otherwise, for everything else, we will use the Blazor layout, which is just main layout. So our default layout. And to make this easier, theming example Blazor UI extensions. Okay, so in main, we will say layout equals preferences active state dot get layout type. Invoke async. So the reason I've started switching to using invoke async for just about everything is because you aren't necessarily on the main UI thread when you're doing a property changed event. And so invoke async is a way for you to safely call state has changed, for example, so that you're not worried about being on the wrong thread, being on a thread that doesn't have access to do something like trigger a re-render. Holy cow. My time is almost up, but I will tell you that this was a good approach for me for a while until I had multiple pages, and each of the pages would contain different content based off of the theme. So then the next thing that I chose to do, which we'll do in the next video and the next time that we are together, e.g. tomorrow at 10:15 Mountain Daylight Time, is create separate folders and pages for my different pages. And each of those pages will get their own route, essentially. So from then on, all of my pages will be routed based off of a new route parameter. So are we displaying the specific theme version for the Blazor theme, or are we displaying the specific version for the other theme? ASP.NET Pages theme. Oh my gosh, brain. But right now, this is a pretty good approach. This will say, change the layout based off of which theme is selected. So I can do stuff like get rid of the sidebar, and Dukasoft says that's how I do it as well too. But there is one more step beyond that I do in order to make sure that the um, code is clean. And it's essentially I have a Razor class library for each skin and a whole bunch of shared files in a separate Razor class library, and then one main Blazor UI that switches out the main. This thing here. So this whole process here is still going to be in main, but type of ASP.NET layout will come from that separate Razor class library. Type of main layout will come from the default Blazor skin Razor class library. You know what I'm trying to say. So we'll get there tomorrow. For now, that is where I'm going to leave this. I'll go ahead and commit. We'll commit that into my implement skinning branch, and we'll come back tomorrow and play with that more. However, for today, that is my time. I need to get back to work and maybe grab a snack or something that'll get me through the rest of the day before dinner time. I hope you all had fun today. I enjoyed your company. Thanks for being here. Sorry I couldn't help more, Tommy. Again, check out Irish John Games. Amazing, amazing streamer. So much fun. If you're okay with vulgarity, which I don't know why it's much of an issue anymore, but there are still people that don't necessarily like that. Just know that he can use profanity because it fits. It works. I will be posting these recordings on YouTube when they don't break and when I don't have copyright claims. I'll post these on YouTube, but they will be available after the stream directly on Twitch in the VODs. So yeah, catch me again. Tomorrow again is going to be 15 minutes earlier. Tuesdays are usually 15 minutes earlier because I have a meeting after the stream at 12:30 my time. So I try to give myself 15 minutes to get ready for that. We are going to raid someone. I haven't raided people in a while. If you feel like it, hang out with me. We're going to go over to Finite Singularity. I've been lurking on his stream. He's so fun. He's got such a good personality. I like him. So we're going to go hang out on his stream. I still don't have a raid message. I got a few of the commands though. I got a few of the commands. But no raid message yet. I don't have enough good emotes. But I guess we can just use the built-in Twitch raid emotes. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for my time. Thanks for being here. I hope to catch you again in the future. Stream every day. Ciao for now. Or every weekday. You know what I mean. I'll be in Discord for the rest of the day. Okay. Ciao.